Good morning, Lafayette. It is great to see you this morning. I am your meteorologist, Brian Burden, Lafayette's only one. Well, okay, Chad's out there too. I like his stuff. Go check him out too. All right, don't forget that. All right, no wars here. We're not doing anything like that. I'm just doing this for fun, really, and I enjoy getting on here every morning talking about weather, talking about what's going on in our community in Lafayette, and trying to see what we're going to be doing over the next, several weeks weather-wise. I talk an entire hour, if I can spit it out right, of weather pretty much. And then I try to talk about anything that you want to talk about that might come up in the chat. So while you are sitting there and I am explaining to you what's going on out there, I'm also checking on YouTube to see if this is actually going out to anybody. And there it is. It is going out. Hey, send it out on YouTube. Send it out through Facebook. Tell your friends about it. Come on here every morning, 9 o'clock, not Saturdays and Sundays, unless there is some really bad, severe weather in the area. Then I'll probably pop in. Otherwise, I'm like you. And you know what I already realized? So, obviously, there's something sticking out of my ear. I know that right here, right? Look at that. I got on the air with a Q-tip in my ear. Now, the Q-tip's not to clean the junk out. It's to clean the water out. I don't know if any of you are going through what I'm going through, but I have been getting water in my ear every night. I wake up in the morning. I have water in my ear. And it's been that way for a little over a year now, maybe closer to 2 years when I first started noticing it. And so then I stick the Q-tip in there so I can hear what's going on. I get the water out. And no, it's not from a shower or anything like that. It happens whether I'm taking a shower or not taking a shower. And it happens about 9 out of every 10 days. Weird things. Let me know in the chat what you think it could be, whether my hearing's going, it's just because I'm old, or I've got something I got to run to the doctor with about. Because when I mentioned it to the doctor last year, they didn't think it was a big deal, which is okay. It doesn't seem to be harming me other than I can't hear out of the ear for a little while. That is for sure. All right, let's switch over. Let's get off the chart. Let's get off of my ugly face and get into the weather. The weather for this morning. All right, 66 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now. Very comfortable. It does feel a bit warmer. We're starting to get some mugginess into the air. You're starting to feel it, right? Sunny skies today, pretty much the entire day. We'll see some wispy cirrus coming and going. And we'll probably look at some of the cameras a little bit later on, too, just to give you an idea of what I am talking about with some of the overhead beautiful clouds. Maybe some of you got some pictures yesterday. If you were watching the show yesterday, I said, hey, get some pictures of the beautiful sky coming tonight, right? And that was last night, and with some of the cirrus on the horizon there in different places. Well, the same thing tonight, but for a different reason. Let me see if I can find the charts here over here. All right, don't leave me. Where are you going? Hey, you guys, did you leave? What happened? All right, there we go. I do not see the chart. Where is it? Oh, it's an up and down chart. All right, so let me take a look at this. This chart, let me see if I can get it to pop up over here. There it is. All right, I think you guys can see that on your chart. Okay, this comes to us from the beautiful, I believe it's the Weather Valet people. We want to give a heads up to them because they're the ones who made that. They're in the Indiana Weather Network, and they just hit on what's something we've all been seeing. Maybe you've heard about it. There's a potential for some northern lights being seen tonight, and it just happens that most of northern Indiana has a pretty good viewing possibility, and that is including Lafayette right there underneath the X. Again, nothing's guaranteed. Auroras are very difficult to predict. But, lately, every time I hear about it, it seems like it happens. So there's something you can hit up tonight if you want to get out there and see some of the aurora potential. Look into which direction? Yes, your north. That's why they call them the northern lights. All right. It says here, assuming expectations are met, aurora may be visible Thursday night across northern Indiana. And I saw a couple other charts that actually showed it going a little farther south than this. But I think here's where he's thinking this is the guaranteed or the strongest possibility, obviously, the northern half of Indiana. So if you're traveling up north to South Bend, or, you're heading over to Rensselaer tonight, or maybe you're even in Rensselaer, hey, that's great. We love our Rensselaer peeps up there. You will have a chance for a one or two sightings of the northern lights. Now, the northern lights aren't them streaky ones, but they give them glows, and you see a lot of different colors. I have been privileged to be able to see both the northern lights and the southern lights. Let's see. What is it called? In the southern hemisphere, not only is it called Southern Lights, but it's called Southern Borealis, right? Australis Borealis, I believe, is what they call it down there, if I remember right. It's been 10 years, guys, since I was down in Antarctica, so I don't know if I remember it exactly right, but there it is. There's your chance for some northern lights tonight. All right, we'll get that picture out. I might bring it back up by the end of the show, but it's basically the northern half of the United States, and it's under G3. Now, what G3 means, I don't know. I got no clue. But it's some kind of warning. Hey, northern lights potential under the G3 status. And it does seem like, based on our forecast, we've got a pretty good chance of just clear skies or nearly clear skies. Hopefully we don't get under some of that cirrus and you miss out on a chance to see some of the really good northern lights. All right, so what I did remember from the southern lights, and I've heard this from many people, is they're not quite as intense in the southern hemisphere as they are in the northern hemisphere. But I was down in Antarctica for the entire winter time frame down there, which is our summer, of course, right? A couple times, and I saw some pretty brilliant colors, I got to admit. But I was, just 700 miles from the South Pole. So, it's just one of those things you have to keep in your mind. It's a beautiful thing that you don't get to see all the time in our neck of the woods. That is for sure. All right. Oh, yeah, like yesterday, I have to remember this, and I want to get it out of the way. Please like and subscribe. Here we go. We're done. You know what they say? They say there's like a 90% better chance that someone will actually sign. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means if you guys just listened to me and ran over and subscribed and liked or not, or whether that means if no one subscribes, if they didn't hear it, then they have no chance, right? I don't know what that means, but whatever it means, go over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Go to Facebook, like and subscribe. I need to get people on Facebook on Let's Talk Lafayette. I need to get to 100 because they won't let me go live on Facebook. All they'll do is allow me to put the link to the YouTube channel there. And some people just like to stay in Facebook, and I would like to do that, but I'm still 70 away or so. So let's go for it right now this week. Let's go for it. We're going to have a weather-a-thon, and I'm going to stay on until I get 100 people on there. Crickets. Yeah, I heard crickets too. I'm not doing that. You know that. All right. So yesterday, there you go. 83, 84 degrees we got up to, right? We said it. There was less cloud cover yesterday. We would be somewhere between 80 and 85. We've been talking about this last week. I don't care what the models have been throwing numbers at you. Yesterday, the model said for today would be 84. Then by the time the hour was done, it said 93. But I was like, what? If yesterday was 83 and we're starting to kick around to a little more southerly flow, we'll tack on a degree or two now. Instead of the east winds coming in, right, and 80 to 85, it might be 83 to 87. So I can see this at least today. We'll get into the numbers. We'll look at them, and I'll try to give you a good, solid yes or no. Either way, what is it going to be today? Hot. Yes, hot. It will be hot out there today. 87 degrees. Wow. Okay, 84 on Friday, Saturday 85. Now, why do I look at these numbers? I look at these numbers just in reference so that when we get into the models, you can see how we have to massage the model yet. The model is not accurate, as accurate as people think it is. Hence, you need weather forecasters and meteorologists and people to look at them and try to decide what they are going to be and not going to be. And what you're going to find out is here on this, my 40 years of experience, over 40 now, of forecasting weather has brought in a pretty good idea of exactly what's going to be happening. All right. Let's see. Chad's doing a bunch of stuff for weather in Lafayette too, and I don't know how long Chad's been a forecaster. He's been around a while though, so he's got some what's that? What do they call it? When underneath the saddle for the horse. That's what they call it. He's got some chap in his hide, something like, I don't know, whatever it is. He's got a little bit of experience too, so you can trust him too, I think. And I don't even know Chad personally at all. Don't know him at all. I think I've sent him a picture here or there or something like that he used on TV years ago, like people used to send me when I was on TV. All right, so here we go. The rest of the week, first chances, where's rain? There it is. Saturday, Sunday, maybe Friday night, I think, when we were looking at it yesterday. We'll see how that blends. And then it's a little mixture of some more rain Monday and Tuesday. Early this week, what is it now? It's Thursday. I think Monday, last week, it showed the big high just setting up again next week, right? And now that's changed, and it's been the same for like 2 days in a row. There's some chance for rain getting into us and being consistent during the week next week. That'll drop our temperatures, and then it rebounds and goes right back into high pressure the following week, all right? So we'll have to see how those numbers pan out for us. So far, 66 is what you got. Let's take a look at the satellite picture, and what do we see? Big blue high, big blue sky. That's what we like to call it. I don't know where I got that saying, and so don't ask me for the story. I'm pretty sure it was somewhere early in the Marine Corps, and it was just to help you remember something. I don't know. But right now you can pan in a high right about here, right? It's not too bad. And then you got a low coming around it this way, and then all this weather is coming around the northern side of the high pressure system, right? It's just kind of shooting out there. So I can see here that I lost my arrow. What happened to my arrow? Oh, got to get the arrow on there. See, that's what happens when you're a one-man crew, right? And you're trying to do things. Oh, there it is. I think it's on here now. Let's see. There we go. Nope, no arrow. What happened to my arrow? Oh, maybe it's a squiggly line. Quick arrow tool. There it is. There it is. I don't know why it just dropped off of there for a moment. Lafayette right here, just to give you a heads up right there. What do you see? What do you notice here? I notice clouds going this way, right? Almost south to north. I notice north of us, we have almost west to east. And then look at this. Out to our east, what do I notice? Almost north to south. What does that mean is going on in here? Well, probably more like here, right? That means right? So we literally have a box around us at this point. And that means good weather for at least today and probably still tomorrow before this back in here in the plains, out in Nebraska, out in Kansas, out even hanging all the way down towards Texas. This whole frontal system is going to try to wash its way through and go through the high pressure system, which will probably recede. It's getting weaker. You can see that. It does have a good hold of the entire eastern seaboard of the United States. Very nice weather if you're in any of the places. Carolinas, up the coast of Maryland, all the way to Massachusetts, Maine. Even they're looking gorgeous again today. East Coast, not only the East Coast, but the look at the West Coast looks gorgeous. All the way up the coast looks good. They do have clouds coming in along the coast, coastal sections. We used to call it May Gray, June Gloom. I can see those clouds right off the coast there again. And they would come inland during the day, right? And then as it warmed up, they would recede back out over the water during the afternoon hours. And we had to time clouds that were basically anywhere from bases of 1,500 feet down to the surface. A lot of times they hovered around the probably 700 to 1,000 foot mark. A lot of times the bases, and we would have to predict when that would burn off so the pilots could come and go. Right. The good news about helos, and it was a helo base, is a lot of times they could come in if they knew exactly where they were. They would settle straight down through the clouds. And I can remember at least 1 or 2 occasions where I knew there was a guy out there and he was coming back at night and the clouds had already come back in, right? Because they come back in at night. And listening to him, I could hear him, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, whoop, down he dropped. Right, and he was right in, taxied right in, they went home. And it was just one of those nights. It was good. All right, so big high on the East Coast, right? And then you got a trough basically dropping along the West Coast and then moving back up to the north. You can pinpoint a jet stream right in there just like that pretty easily, all right? But we seem to have a box south to north, right? Then you got west to east, and then you got north to south, right? And we are in the box. We are in the box today. I hadn't thought about it like that before. Let's just zoom right in, all right? Let's get right back into Lafayette. Lafayette's right about here. And, of course, we're not seeing much. We're seeing wispy cirrus clouds here and there. And that's what we're going to see most of the day today. We don't see any real rains. Let's switch to some rains here real quick so you can see the mosaic. You see this? Nothing in Indiana. But we can see some of the scattered showers out here to the west where we were talking they'll be coming from. Now, what do you notice first is they're going southwest to northeast right now. So they're not making any progress towards us. But as the day goes on and as the high, which is now down towards our southeast, exits the pattern slowly or gives up the goat and allows some strength and the system to get stronger, then this will slowly continue to edge towards us. And then by later today, it'll be somewhere in this area, right? And we'll be seeing the weather going like this. And then tomorrow it'll do the same thing. It'll edge towards us. And by late Friday, probably late in the afternoon, we'll see most of the weather off to our northwest still, but there'll be a chance for some of this stuff to wash through anybody in northern Illinois, northern Indiana. That's where we'll get our weather Friday night into Saturday. But what I'm hating to possibly see is we may see one of these extended west to east flows right over the central Indiana. Now, Indianapolis has said they've got the 7th wettest spring on record, yet I'll be willing to bet we were in the bottom 10 for Lafayette, or at least the bottom half. It was a dry spring for Lafayette because there was this big pattern that dropped a bunch of rain right here in a triangle, kind of like that. That's where a lot of the rain got dropped. And we missed out. Every time we said, oh, look at the rain's coming, blah, 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 blah. And it should stay south of us. I remember saying it a bunch of times. And sure enough, that's exactly what is happening right now, okay? So radar looks good. Let's go back to the satellite real quick, and let's go to the infrared. We're starting to pick up pictures pretty good now. For about a month or two, I'll have generally a pretty good visual charts in the morning. And you can see just the wispy clouds. And we got what? We got north to south right here. We got west to east right here, and we got south to north right here, right? Even southwest, and then in the low levels, these are lower clouds out over here. They're going southwest to northeast, right? So, and then the high is way, well, at this point, if you're getting a northerly flow. Now, this is, remember, these clouds, these cirrus clouds are high in the atmosphere. So the high at the surface is not affecting what's going on with them. But the high in the upper level patterns must be right about here, right? Can you see that now? There is a difference between what's at the surface of the earth and what's in the upper atmosphere. Well, upper atmosphere weather-wise, right? And that upper portion of the atmosphere weather-wise is the guidance. So if I've got flow this way, and this way, and I've got a high right about here, where's that high going to go? It's going to move, right? It's going to move. And we've seen that steadily moving over the last couple of days. So the surface area high is giving up the goat, so to speak. And I say that just because of my one of my grandsons loves goats. All right, there you go. That's the only reason I said that. Let's zoom really close in, and there you go. Now I like to change it to this other enhancement. Where's it at? There it is. Day cloud phase, because I can pick up things really easy. And sure enough, you notice how the cirrus, you can see the cirrus at least a little bit, right? But you can also see, look at this, you can see the Wabash Valley very well on here. So very quiet this morning, okay? That's what we're looking at. Let's get into the charts. Let's just start looking at what's going on. Okay, so here's what I said, right? Oh, my color's changed. I don't like that yellow. I got to have blue on mine, all right? That's just me. I'm a blue guy. The high is down here, right? Okay, so we've seen that. It was up here, right? A couple days ago. And where was the flow? The flow was around the system, right? And everything was going this way. So the high, we had kind of drawn a line in like this, and nothing could get past it. Anything this side was dry, everything this side was wet. And so a lot of our rain was moving like this. And then we started talking about the high shifting and coming down here, and that would mean the flow and the angles of rain would change to over here, where it would be dry this side and it would be wet this side, and the flow would be like this. So it looks like it's setting up exactly like that. Here we are at 9 o'clock this morning. Look where Lafayette is at, which is right here, so you can focus your eyes on that right now. And let's see what we've got here. See if I push this one button, if it'll work, or if I'm going to lose everything. Nope. It didn't work. Okay. I was hoping I could get it to advance. But what we're going to see is the flow kind of coming along those angles there. All right. Now let's go down here and grab the thing. There we go. Watch the showers, everybody, out to the west. You can see how they move and they go through the atmosphere in Iowa and into Wisconsin today. Here we are at midnight tonight. Did you see any green over Indiana? Nothing. Nada. No way. Not going to be happening, all right? But our flow is out here. Remember I said it would move somewhere from here to somewhere here, and by Friday it would be somewhere in here, right? And then by Saturday, guess what? It's actually starting to tilt more, and it's kind of running like that. So let's see how we progress through here. Friday morning, here we go. When you wake up in the morning, let's say you head off to work at 7 o'clock. There you go. 7 o'clock looks great. What I do see is a couple scattered spots of a shower. And why are we going to get those? Well, it looks like we're already setting up into summer pattern, right? And when you have heat and you have humidity, you're going to get some pop-up showers and occasional thunderstorms in spots. And right now, it's showing a spot down in southern Illinois, and even one little green dot there that could pop something. Now, what you're generally going to see is nothing in these areas, but there's an isolated chance for something in there, all right? And then we move along. You see how those little green dots are there kind of around us. And then we keep moving. And now here we are Friday afternoon, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and you're thinking, oh no, here it comes. But look how it starts to fall apart. The high is still right down here. It's moved a little farther south, but it still has some control and efforts to dry things out as it comes in. And the showers get right to our doorstep, and then what do? They hit the Lafayette bubble, and they fall apart, all right? So there's 6 o'clock in the evening, and what do you see? The sprinkly looking, maybe isolated showers. Maybe there's still a little line of thunderstorms moving through here like this, probably more like this, right? And that could still be a possibility tomorrow evening. And then as we get closer to midnight, then we start picking up a better chance. We catch the tail end of this system. Showers become a little more persistent tomorrow night. This is like 11 o'clock tomorrow night, right? Right there. Lafayette's right there in the middle of those scattered showers and maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two. And that passes through. But what do I see? This is what I see right here. This is west to east. Remember I said we don't want to get in a pattern where we're west to east. And with that low dragging everything off to the east, right, and trying to get around the high, most of this weather wants to move around it. Now, I can put a low right here, right, and probably a low off the chart, and we could drag a cold front through here, right, and then right in here we could go stationary with it, and then right in here we could go warm front with it, right? So where the warm front sector is, you have showers north of that, right? Where the cold front sector is, you have showers south of that, right? And then in between, they can be south or north, depending on the system. In this case, you have scattered showers south of it, but they're being cut off from any source, right? They're still picking up. Matter of fact, they're probably showing up because there's enough moisture in the air to create some instability Friday night into Saturday morning, all right, on this. And this only goes out to, 2 o'clock Saturday. The new run's coming in, but it's only about halfway done. Let's take a look at it. The new big run is coming in here. Let's see, there's 11Z. There it is. It is 52% done. Okay, so here we are Friday. Let's see what it's saying. We already know it's going to be dry at the beginning, right? So here's Friday morning, and it's going out. And we see the little pop-up shower here or there, right, to annoy us during the day tomorrow. There we are, 9 o'clock, and when I come on the air tomorrow, we'll be talking about the showers out over in the Mississippi and some thunderstorms there, and to watch out for those. And that's as far as the model's gotten so far at 12Z. In another 20 minutes or so, we'll have the whole thing in, it looks like, on this, at least on this front, I think. Okay, and then this model. Now, I can go to the NAM Nest, and I can go back to the 6Z here real quick and see what it looks like. Well, it's put the rain pretty much the same spot, right, for Friday morning. It's all out there. I see a low, though. It's got an actual, it put a low in place here, right? And you still would be dragging your system like this, and then kind of like that, something like that, right? And let's watch how it moves along here. And does it come in any quicker? It cuts off on the southern half, right? Just like the other model did. Here we are at 6 o'clock in the evening, very much the same, but I think there were a few more scattered light showers closer to us by 6 in the evening tomorrow night. The reality is, there it goes. It sets itself up, and look at that. By 1 in the morning, it's saying there'll be showers just north of Lafayette, and these are light showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm in here. Lafayette's right about there. Okay, so it doesn't say it passes through by Saturday morning. Well, it does say maybe early morning hours you could hear a little rap of thunder. But look at, we're right on the line again. We are at the line is right here. Most of it north of there is what? Wet. Most of us south of us is south. All right, is dry. There you go. Now, Saturday, we get a little more active during the day. We see some more activity along that same kind of frontal boundary where it is, but you can pinpoint it pretty easily in spots where the moisture is going to be like this. And this isn't giving much of a to-do about it. It's basically going to set it up, and it's going to have some severe weather over here. And I'm going to go to the charts for the Storm Prediction Center here just in a moment so we can look at them, because we haven't been in any of them in the last week, right? We've been looking at great weather. So let's look at the Storm Prediction Center's charts. So here they are, day 2 convective, because we're not in anything. I go back a chart here, one chart. Oh, that's right. These won't go if I... All right. So I go back one chart day look. There we go. Here's today. All right, here's Thursday. Look at all the weather out here. Maybe something in South Dakota, right? Now we go to day 2 outlook, and look at that. It looks like it wants to put the thunderstorms north of us, right? But there's just a slight risk for Lafayette, which is right about there on the chart, of a thunderstorm, really. And even this isn't too much. When you get into it, it's just wind, right? Doesn't look like there's much. There's some hail in it, potentially. No tornadic activity, and that kind of keeps it all in store there. But look at day 3. It kind of almost hopscotches right over us. How many times have we seen this? Thunderstorms run up to the front of us. All right, then it hits night, and all the thunderstorms die down in their activity, and maybe we get a couple cracks of thunder, but in a little light rain. But then it sets up the next day in Ohio or Pennsylvania. And this is, again, the exact scenario. Same way, where here we are out here on one day. It goes over us during the night and pops up to our east during the day. And on this one, what do you got on there? Probabilistic. It only goes out so far on this one. The third day, it only gives you the potential there for it. And we are in the green, though, so that means we have a chance for a thunderstorm during the day. And maybe a slight risk of a thunderstorm, but it's going to set itself up to our east. And when you go back and look at the chart, you can see where that's starting to happen, right? Okay, so there's 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. So this whole entire area on Saturday afternoon is going to have some potential for thunderstorm activity, and this will get bigger and bigger, I would think, during the day on Saturday. All right. So let's go back to right about now, and then let's kick off the GFS here real fast. All right. And we'll keep it on the big mode so we can see where most of the weather is. And the GFS has started off the same way. It's right. It's got all this weather to the north of us right now is what we're seeing on that track. So we're going to stick with that, right? We're going to stick with that. And nothing's changed there. So let's go on the long pattern. When does it try to wash everything through us? It keeps it even farther north. A little bit farther north, off of us for Saturday, Friday into Saturday, and then it sweeps some showers through in the early morning hours, extending all the way down. But look at that. Where's the gap? You got thunderstorms to the north, thunderstorms to the south. Look who's in the gap. Lafayette's in the gap. Again, we get missed again from some of this rain. All right? And then it goes through, leaves a chance on Saturday a little bit. Now we've just got an unsettled area, right? We're picking up a big area where the thunderstorms will pop up either in northern Ohio or central Ohio, right? And then we've got another low back down to our west. And where are we caught? We're in between with some bigger weather picking up there and then moving out, all right? But then we move into Sunday. Here we are Sunday morning. If you're getting ready to head off to church, looks like most of the rain is south of us by that point. But it is spreading north, it looks like, during the day. We might get a little band of showers coming through late in the afternoon into the evening hours, and then some more rain possible. Well, now this is where we could get into a pretty decent. The flow is like this, right? And where is it? It's south to north, and we may be stuck in that little pattern for 12 hours to 24 hours, and that could bring us some rain. So like 9Z on Monday morning, it's in central Illinois. It's more like here, right? I would call it there, right? But then a couple hours later, there it is in central Indiana and western Indiana, and that's us, all right? And then a couple hours later, 6 hours later, it's starting to fall apart, and we're not seeing a ton with that. Let's see if it doesn't, and it just does that. So Monday, that would be Monday's rains. Now here's a chance on Tuesday of coming in. That low dives south of us. The low is coming from where? It's coming from the northwest, which means it's not tapping into the Gulf moisture yet at all. And this big pocket of thunderstorms, and that's what it looks like, is a big pocket of thunderstorms, wants to go down to St. Louis and through there for the latter portions or the early portions of next week, I think. And then I see a lot of this, scattered little spots where there's just a little bump in the road and some showers and thunderstorms pick up, and that's a lot of your heating. It's going to be real hot again. There's a lot of humidity now being started to force up from the south as that high has moved off that direction, right? Okay, we don't see a high setting up over us anywhere in here right now. So most of next week right now looks like it could be rainy, and we could get caught in a couple of little spots. We need the rain. We just don't need torrential rains, right? And then look at this. This is a little scary. There's a big old batch of thunderstorms right there. And do they tie in like this? And Lafayette's right about there. Because it's next Thursday, that could easily adjust one direction or the other. Or even fall off of the charts. But I see several days where we're kind of in a wet pattern there, right? Everything is there over Indiana. Now, when's it going to change? Let's keep an eye on it. There's some more scattered showers all the way out through Friday or Saturday. Then next Saturday, June 13th, it looks a little drier. There's a high way over here. It's off the chart, but its influence is still there. And then we're still starting to see the southerly flow continue. I see a lot of humid air. I see a lot of hot in these forecasts. And I see scattered showers and thunderstorms could pop up just about any day. It's almost like it's the dead of summer, like it's middle of July, right, when we get that kind of activity. Now, here we are, Sunday, June 14th. What is that, a week and a half away? No, that's a week. It's a week and a half away. And you've got a west to east look, right, on your rain bands. So that's something to keep in mind when you look at that. And then we go a little farther out, and we just see some scattered stuff and some more rain that goes to the north. I'm looking for the high to set itself up or something to get a little more consistent here weather-wise. I see a lot of muddled showers, scattered showers every day. Hey, guys, next week I'll be like, guys, there'll be scattered showers every day in the forecast. You be ready for it. You make sure you got your umbrellas. Okay, and then look at it. It's going to be real hot in June 17th. There's going to be a hot day there in store for us. And then looks like, look at that. There's a band of thunderstorms and some kind of front that washes through the area. June 18th, guys, June 18th, next Thursday, 2 weeks from today. That's 2 Thursdays away. There's a good band of thunderstorms that rumbles through, actually goes through Lafayette, but it comes through in the morning, so we'll see. Long ways out. Lots of changes. There's a high pressure system back. So we've been pretty much enjoying a big high over us for a while, and it doesn't look like a good solid high sets us up for good weather for a while. Finally, Friday, June 19th, next 2 Fridays from now, we get a high over us and some weather spurting around to the north, all right? So what is that going to do temperature-wise to us? And let's take a look at this, because I've already told you it's going to be warm, right? Let's go in close now on this one. When I switch it over to temperatures, let's go to the HRRR first, right? Let's see what the HRRR is saying, because we know the HRRR has been at least fairly accurate on its temperatures compared to some of the other models, all right? So here we are today. Let's get into today. Let's look at the time frames on this. What do I see? Well, I see a southerly flow. Look at this. It's not very strong flow, but it's a flow from the south, right? And where it's the strongest and where it has the most potential is out to our west. And even out here, everything is from the south. You see that? We know our rain is still off to the west a little bit. and it's a little cooler here in the early morning hours. This is what? This was 10Z, so this was 6 o'clock this morning, all right, on Thursday. And let's see how it settles into the day. We're looking for our time frame around 21Z, which is our max heating of the day this time of the year right now. So it's around 5 o'clock, 4 to 5 o'clock. And then the temperatures start to drop slowly after that. Okay, so by 9 o'clock, said we should be 70. We were 66, but maybe we're 70 by now. Let's take a quick look at it. It is 74, so it's already jumped back above everything there. All right, so 75, it said by 10 o'clock. It might be pretty close to that. It's 9:30. All right, so we're pretty close on that front. We go a little warmer into the afternoon, 78. It's 80 by already noon. All right, by noon, it's going to be 80. And look at all the 80s popping up everywhere. And all these little wind barbs, what direction are they now going? Southwest to northeast. So within the next couple hours, we're going to set that up, right? And because there's an abundance of sunshine all through the Midwest, it's going to get warm, all right? So when the easterly wind was kicked in and we had an abundance of sunshine, I said 80 to 85. That has been spot on. We've been hitting 83, 84 almost every day with open skies, right? Now, with a southwesterly wind coming in, you're going to tack that temperature up 5 degrees, right? Because different direction, different warm source. That's actually where the weather's coming from and where it's pulling temperatures in. So that's what you're going to see on that front. So now we're going to go 80, at least 83 to like 87, 88, right? Maybe even 85 to 90 on these kind of things. Let's see how this sets up. I'm still shooting for, June 12th. That's next Thursday, I think, isn't it? Or next Friday for the first 90-degree temperatures. And the model yesterday flew wishy-washy. It showed the 11th and 12th. Well, actually showed the number 90 on there. I was picking 90 before it ever even showed 90s on there. It showed just upper 80s, all right? So we're still shooting for that. But because next week's muddled with thunderstorms, who knows what happens, and showers all over the place, we might not see much. But look at this. Here we are, 2 o'clock, 82 degrees in Lafayette, 84 degrees in Danville, 83 in Rensselaer. Very warm out there. All right, 84, there we go. And it peaks us at about 84 at 21Z, which is what time? That would be 5 o'clock this afternoon. Rensselaer, 85. Look at this, downtown Chicago. 88 degrees for downtown Chicago. Can you believe it? All right, yeah. So there you go. Very warm afternoon setting up for us again today, just like yesterday. I will tack on a few degrees on here, just like I did yesterday, just like we will today. If it's showing 84, expect 86 to 88 today is what we will see. 84 would be the bottom of it. So let's go 84 to like 88 is where I go for shooting for my temperatures today. All right. That would be on the low end. What are we going to do tomorrow morning? Well, it should be pretty warm. Look at the flows out of the south throughout the morning. When do we normally get our lows in the morning? Well, this time of the year, it's about 11Z. There you go, 62. The 10Z shows 62. And we're starting to warm up already at 11Z, which is 7 o'clock. So there you go. 62, it says tomorrow morning. Not too bad if you're heading off to work, right? Very quickly warms up. Here we are. This is 10 o'clock. It's 76 degrees again already tomorrow morning. So what does that tell us? It's going to be a warm day again tomorrow, except we may be closer to the center of the warmth. There we go. It's showing 84 at 18Z. Okay, so that's 2 o'clock in the afternoon for us. All right. It's 84. It backs off because it's going to throw some clouds over us, but it hangs right around that 84 mark again. Okay, so this again, I think is more of your bottom. This is where the bottom is going to be, 83, 84. But the potential, depending on the cloud cover, could be as high as 87, 88. Now, yesterday, if you remember, at the end of it, the new run of the herd jumped the temperature. Well, it didn't do it. The model on wherever it was getting the temperatures from jumped it to 93 for today. And I told you that was crazy, but we would probably see upper 80s today. And that's what it looks like. Bottom floor tomorrow, 84, climbing all the way maybe to as high as 88 tomorrow. And all dependent on a cloud cover, of course. And then it goes out to Saturday morning, and bright and early at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's still 70 degrees Saturday morning. Definitely feeling like summer. Summer has come ashore, and it is working with us throughout this time frame. All right, let's push it out. Let's see what the GFS says, continuing on with the temperatures there. Here we are Saturday morning. It has you a morning low somewhere around 66. We're already pushing, look at this, 82 degrees by 21Z of the afternoon. But I see everything still coming from the southwest, right? So what's going to stop this from getting to us? Nothing at this point, other than we've got some potential for scattered rains, right? So you notice most of Indiana and Ohio aren't as hot as they were on Friday because they have more rain over them, more clouds over them, more things to keep the sun from getting to it. Let's see if we rebound on Sunday back for some good temperatures. There you go. Heading off to church Sunday morning. Beautiful 71 degrees. Wear a shirt, shorts, whatever you do, whatever your church is like. If you have like formal wear for your church, wear that. You'll still enjoy the day. If your church is informal and they just say come as you are, you can wear, try to still be, make sure you're not uncovering some things. But, shorts and a shirt is very nice. The churches like in the South, like in South Carolina where we were at for Charleston a lot of them, if they didn't have that formal, were informal, and a lot of people wore shorts and T-shirts into service because it was 80 degrees already outside when they got there, and it was very humid. And by the time they left church, it was 86 degrees, and it was dripping off of you. So you can see why come as you are works in a lot of places, all right? And then here we go. All right, so let's get into Monday. Monday shows just upper 70s, so I can probably bump this into the 80s. I'll go a little bit warmer, obviously. I want to find some like 88 in here. If I find the first 88 for a high temperature, I'm going to jump on that as my expected 90. But I've been on the 90 for June 12th since Monday, and we're sticking with it for right now. All right, here we go. I might even did that last Friday. I'm not sure. All right, but it is what today? Thursday, June 4th. All right, here we go. Tuesday. What are we expecting Tuesday? Pretty warm pocket again, right around 80, so 80 to 85 there. We have a nice southerly flow still coming up. Very warm pockets of air out to our west. And then we push on into Wednesday. Very warm in the mornings. That's what I'm noticing. Most of our mornings are warm. All right. Yes, by June 10th, right? That's what this is. The morning low should be like 60 degrees anyway, but it's still showing 65 to 70. So it's above normal there. Temperatures are in the mid 80s to upper 80s. And believe it or not, that's not that far from normal. On June 10th, it should be 82 for your high. Right now, it should be 80. So anything 80 and above is going to be above normal, but it's still closer to normal than we think it is, all right? I think we've kind of lost our thought process on what is warm and what isn't sometimes. A lot of that global warming going around out there. All right, Thursday morning looks warm again in the morning, right? We're keeping that trend on there. But what about Thursday afternoon? 77, and there's a big pocket of cold out to our west despite having a southerly flow. Rain, that's a lot of rain, isn't it? That's what you're seeing there. A lot of rain in this area where it's been so nice for a while now. Then we get into Friday. See what we tap out on Friday. 18Z, it's already 81. So 81, 82, same thing. You got scattered rain showers all over the place. You got a southerly flow. Looks like there's a low right here, right? So I don't know where this low is going. Probably going like that, but it's brought some rain in with it. That could just be the trough kicking through, but I don't see a lot of turning of the winds anywhere. Everybody's southwest or southerly on this. And then over here, they're a little more southeasterly going up into Ohio. But you notice, Wisconsin. Look at the temperatures in Wisconsin. They're warmer than they are in Indiana or as warm. And there's a big pocket of heat out here, right? Okay, so that's June 12th. It doesn't show me that I'm going to hit my 80s, does it? My high of 90 that day. At least right now. It's saying rain's going to be in the picture, and we're going to have to watch it. Let's see do we get an 88 somewhere? Well, look at this, Friday. Let me go back to Friday. There it is. That's 80. That's the day we're shooting for, next Friday. Okay, let's see. And it's already changing, right? You see the changes. Let's see about Saturday. Saturday, 81. I don't see a ton of hot in here. This is good. These are all average temperatures, right? Sunday, next Sunday, same thing. We're hovering around 80 degrees somewhere in there. We don't have a good solid flow. We don't see strong winds coming from anywhere. Matter of fact, now we're starting to get winds out of the east. And then here it's kind of muddled, but it's slowly going that direction, all right? That's going into Monday, June 15th. And then on that day, boom, there's some warmth finally starting to kick in. This tells me open skies. And it's summer, and so now we're going to get to 85. So June 15th, we should be having a high of 84. It shows 84. but there's pockets of stuff all around us. This is some kind of low. It looks like there's probably some rain in here, going in these directions. Something to keep in mind. So I could see that being warmer easily. We're looking for the trends. We're going to get real hot. There we go. There's the real hot. Kind of kicks in Tuesday, June 16th. So that's later than my June 12th. I don't mind that. I don't mind if we don't hit 90 all summer. As a matter of fact, I would be okay with that because upper 80s are still very uncomfortable. And in Indiana, it's humid, not like Charleston, South Carolina, but it's humid. So if you were in the South, it's warm there. Everybody knows it's warm there. A lot of people don't understand it's humid, which means it feels warmer than it is. So when it's 88 with 80% humidity, right, it feels like 104, right? You understand that concept? So in Charleston, about middle of May to the end of May to the middle of September or end of September, you just ran from your your house to your car and from your car to work because it was so stinking hot you didn't want to do anything, right? That was me especially because I don't like heat. So that's what we were getting with that. That's when we lived in South Carolina, it was like that. Now, for us in Indiana, we only get those spurts maybe 1-2 weeks out of the summer, right? Where it's really hot and really humid, okay? So, and we don't see that in the pattern right now, even though we may see a 90-degree temperature sometime in the next couple weeks. Here we are. Which day is this? This is Wednesday, June 17th, showing 85s close to us, 89. No big pockets of 90s anywhere. What does it do at the end of it? Washes us out with some rain and keeps us pretty cool for a day or two there. That'll be refreshingly weird, right? So then we've got a high of 79 only on that day, 76, 79, somewhere right in there. That's a cooler day. And look at that, it even shows some 50s. Now we're talking June 19th, and the average low on June 19th should be about 62. So finally some temperatures below normal in the morning hours there. Most of them have been far above normal for most of the month of June, but we're going to be more muddled temperature-wise next week and the following week. So that's the good news. We're talking hot and humid, but we're only talking 5 degrees above normal for this time of the year. So we're not going to be that far off as it is right now. All right, so we've kind of looked at a little bit of everything, right? Let's see how much of the HUR has come in now. See the new run. Let's see, 12Z, about 91%. So what do we do? We saw the temperatures for tomorrow, right? There it goes. It peaked out at 86 for tomorrow. What's it say for today? 84. Somewhere right in there. There's 21Z, 84. Good pocket of very warm air up in Chicago today, up in that area. But look at the flow. The flow is just like this. The flow is just like this. That's a hot southerly flow, right? Tomorrow morning, we drop back off, maybe 68, 66, 65. There we go. I don't know what time of the day it is. There we go. Back to about 62, which is above normal for this time of the year. We should be somewhere around 58. So we're not too far off, but we're, a little warmer in the morning, and then bam, a nice rebound again tomorrow. There's an 86 on there, and what I see is the pocket of warmth is right here. But what's coming? The front is right up here, and you can see the front. You can see all the rain. We could just go like this, drop it right around there, and you could put showers and thunderstorms through that entire route, right? And then we're going to see if it drags through us by Saturday and into Saturday. So let's see how it goes with 85, 86 tomorrow, which I would bump to 88, all right, for tomorrow for your temperatures if we stay cloudless, all right, for most of the morning, especially morning into the afternoon. We know we're going to have the approaching storms. We talked about that a little earlier in the show. And then, so what do we have on Saturday? The high on Saturday, well, that's Friday. Boom, 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 sorry. Saturday morning, this is as far as this goes out, is still 69 degrees at 4 in the morning. So still very warm during that time frame with it going through. So there's what the new model is showing. But we needed to see where the rain was on this and how it's updated its rain. All right, so there's the line of showers that's going to be out there Friday, right? Here it is. Friday, tomorrow morning, we're going to be talking about this. It's going to be right here. This right here is 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to be talking about, oh, look at the thunderstorms out here, and I'll be telling you how they're going to go all the way, and they're going to stay north of us, and I'm going to draw a line in here and go, okay, remember, south of this line is dry, north of this line is going to be wet most of the day, and then this line will progress itself from here to maybe about here by late in the afternoon into the evening tomorrow, and we'll probably see some showers out there. So let's let's see how this progresses towards us. All right, 15Z. So now we're talking 10 o'clock, right? Now, 12 o'clock right there. And then 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I almost said 13 o'clock, but it's 13Z. All right. But look what happens to the showers. They fall apart. They just don't have anything. But so what I'm seeing here is a chance for a scattered shower. There we go. A chance for an isolated to scattered shower during the day tomorrow in the afternoon, right? Not in the morning. And that means we're going to see some cloud cover in here. And that may mute our temperatures and keep us a little cooler tomorrow. All right. But where is the rain going? It's setting up. It's just running along north of us for a while. And then late in the evening, here we are. It's 22Z, which is 6 o'clock. We see a little line of and a little blip of showers and thunderstorms cutting through Chicago, all heading towards the west right now. But does any of this kind of clip off Lafayette, which is right here, right? Lafayette's right there. Okay. Let's see what happens. That's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and it misses us, or at least it shows it misses us. But I still see a line of thunderstorms up in here, right? That's where the main batch is. So, and then that gets itself together. By midnight, it's just north of us. If you're in Monticello, if you're in Rensselaer, if you're up in Rochester, those kind of areas. Heading back out north of Champaign, you're going to see this is where the line of thunderstorms is and where it's setting itself up, at least the morning hours. We already looked at the SPC, and it showed that the severe weather on Friday would be out basically anywhere that side, right? And then what did it do? It shifted it over here on Saturday, and for the severe weather. But that doesn't mean we won't get any rain on Saturday. We got about 8 hours here we can look at. Let's take a look at it. All right, there we are, 6Z, which is 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Look at this. We do have a little bit of a showery activity and maybe a thunderstorm activity possible. Here we are at 6 o'clock in the morning, 7, and then that's where it stops, at least for now. So there's a band of some showers right there, potentially Saturday morning, early Saturday morning. So if you got one of those baseball tournaments that's going on and the first game goes off at 8 o'clock, they'll be close to some showery activity in the Lafayette area during that time frame. And draw a line back out here to this, and later in the afternoon, that line will be close enough to us to bring us another chance for some more showers. And I think the NAM Nest went a little farther out, didn't it? There's the NAM Nest showing it to us. And then as it goes into the afternoon, in the morning, it dries it out a little bit, right? And that's where it is there. And then you can see the line right here. And then this is where the severe weather is going to pick up in the afternoon. And we're back into just scattered stuff. And somehow Lafayette misses that. We get missed. Severe weather's here, right? Severe weather's all out here, right? Nothing for Lafayette. Rain. Rain comes through. It's all out here, right? Then it kind of goes through at night if we get anything, and then it sets itself all up over here, right? So that's kind of the scenario. That does not mean it won't rain Friday, isolated chance during the day, or, few to scattered showers popping up during the day on Saturday, because I think we will be dodging some showers on Saturday with most of the severe thunderstorms, that kind of thing, picking up out to our east, right? And we already took a quick look at the Storm Prediction Center. There it is for Saturday, showing that spot right there. On Friday, it has it more over here, southern Wisconsin and Iowa, just to give you a heads up. All right, it's 9:52. Let's take a quick look at the cameras around the area. What's it looking like up in Rensselaer this morning? Hey, they've got one of their crew is out on there. There it is. Look at that. One of the snowplows is driving around doing some training today or whatever they're doing. All right, there's the bridge. Looks pretty good. But let's go back one shot. Oh, looks a little more congested today, but it's still running pretty smooth through there. We go down. We see a little bit of cirrus on the horizon. There's our beautiful camera, but look at it. It's pointed towards the southeast or south this morning, right? And so I'm getting more of a glare than anything else. But I can see some cirrus in the sky right here heading that we can see just about everywhere, right? It's just not real thick today. So that's the good news. Remington's exit looks pretty good. Looks like cops out chasing everybody, or somebody's got a car like that. All right. Another good camera shot. It's just not high enough. Roads are pretty quiet here on Thursday, it looks like so far. You're heading farther south, you get down to State Road 18. I can see some of the cirrus in places out there showing up pretty well. And I'll go back and show us the satellite picture here in a second. All right, here's State Road 43, looking back towards the northwest. Don't believe what this thing says. It says northeast, but it's northwest. All your shadows are going this way, right? Matter of fact, it's more west-northwest than it is anything else. All right, so that gives you an indication of where everything's at. State Road 25, looking back towards 43. Same thing. I'm seeing traffic. That's about it. The cameras, there we go. There's some cirrus we can see. State Road 26, we can see the wispiness of that in there. Very high in the sky. More of the same when you look to the south, more wispy high cirrus clouds. And that will take a degree or two off of us for today, but not much. You see how the sun is shining right through all of this cirrus pretty easily. And then we looked on the cameras farther south, State Road 28, and you can see that you can see off on the horizon pretty well. Traffic's moving pretty good there. And we look back towards the metropolis of Frankfurt. We have a couple other pictures we want to get to. Fowler, what's the Fowler count today? We are back to zero. We are back to zero with a little cirrus on the horizon. We keep track, if you haven't seen the show before, of this camera right here in Fowler, and we keep a day track, and it's generally one car on the entire highway. So there you go. You got it there. All right. Northwest. Let's look northwest, boys. And this would be West Lafayette out by the Walmart. And you can see it's pretty high and dry there. We head south towards the airport. And the airport's camera is pointed straight down the ground. And that is it. You get to River Road where 52 and 231 come together. A lot of us have been through here. It looks pretty nice right now. And then over by the mall, it looks beautylicious, as we used to say. All right, let's look back at current temperature, 76 degrees. This has not done this weird adjustment like it did yesterday, where we came back at close to 10 o'clock and it said 93 for today. We are looking upper 80s, definitely for sure. This is one of the few days I've been closer to the temperatures. 87, 88 is probably where we're going to be. 86 on the low side, depending on the thickness. And then you see the scattered rains potential for, it's actually late Friday night into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And these are so hit and miss in different places and times. We won't get what we need for the crops, but it would be nice if we could get some pretty good soakings here in the next week or two for all the crops to continue forward on their progress to feeding the world. All right, that's it for now. Let's come back out. It is almost 10 o'clock. Don't forget what tonight? Yes, there is potential for what are we talking about? Northern Lights, that's what it is. I knew I could remember it. Northern Lights for the northern half of Indiana has a pretty good spot, a chance for it. So look to the skies tonight. Hopefully the cirrus won't be covering everything up and you'll be able to see some of the Northern Lights. I've seen both northern and southern, and the northern are stronger, have more colors to them. They don't come this far south that often, so a couple times a year it seems like we'll get a chance. Hopefully you can get out there and get a chance to see those tonight. After when? After dark, of course. Now, that's it for today. You guys have a blessed day. Go out and enjoy the beautiful weather while we still have it and it's still around. You have a blessed day, and I will see you what time? 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. See ya.